Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a disassembly for you of this little guy right here. This is the Artisan Cutlery Gavko Knives. I believe it's called the Great White. And it is a non-flipper Gavko. And that is actually something, I've never actually had a Gavko knife, I think, on my channel before. I've handled them a couple of times, but, for some reason, the flipper tab aesthetic never really spoke to me, but, his designs never quite hit it for me. But I saw this one, is like, okay, that's really attractive. I kind of like that. And the idea of the non-flipper is interesting. So I asked Artisan to see if I could check one of these guys out. Indeed, here it is. So anyways, let's go on ahead and take it apart. The pivot there is a T8. And these guys in the back here appear to be T6. Yep, good. And if you're curious, by the way, about any of the tools I'm using for this or any other disassembly, go to nickshabazz.com/tools. We're seeing the little Artisan Cutlery thing in the back there. It's a very shallow Torx screw, but that'll do. And that should be enough for the knife to come apart. This part appear to be the locator pins or something like that in the back here. So I'm going to use this little spudger tool to see if I can't just pop the back apart a little bit more readily. Come on now. Open it up, bro. Could there be some other issue here? Because what I'm seeing here, I bet there's just thread locker around the outside of this. Because what I'm seeing here is it goes straight through to the back there, and I'm seeing the barrel. So I think we're about good. What I am going to do here is see if I can't pull the pivot out. There we go. That lets me pull the blade out, and that way as I'm disassembling the rest of the knife, I don't have to worry about a blade flopping around, right? Okay. Are we coming loose? Is loose a thing? Have I... There we are. Beautiful. Yeah, looks like it was just a tight fit. Okay, no problem. So what we see here is a pretty vanilla... That's a big-ass stop in. Anyways, back at the ranch, what we see here is a pretty vanilla flipper... Or not flipper frame lock, just good old-fashioned titanium frame lock, right? What we're seeing here is, well, just a knife. And so as a result, we can just take this guy apart. And just a second here. Can take this guy apart, no problem, and clean it all up. At the moment, I've actually, so this is a knife that I have, I carried a little bit, and I've just been kind of flicking back and forth, so to speak, just at home, sitting at my computer, doing the work stuff. Right? And so it's probably gotten a little bit more use than some, just in terms of like strict mechanical action, because it is a really nice flick in action, right? And that wasn't, by the way, a taboo thing of nice flick in action. It is a nice action for the flicking. Let's go ahead and clean these bearings off here. Beautiful. And this one, beautiful. What we see here is stainless steel bearing races, which are a beautiful thing. We see a ceramic detent ball, as well as ceramic bearings, which are kind of de rigueur these days, but that's nice. We see... Honestly, we don't see a heck of a lot else, right? It's kind of it's a frame lock, right? What I do see is a little bit of a machining defect. Hold on, right there. On the inside of the blade path there, it looks like that might just barely dodge the detent, or I'm sorry, not detent, the bearing race. Like it's not actually on the place where the bearings go. That's not super impressive, but yeah, not the end of the world. No one's ever going to see it, right? And yeah, we're good to go. Let's put the guy back together here. But yeah, it's interesting. Where is my pivot? Here's my pivot. Should clean that off, too. Big is big. And by the way, the blade shape. Holy crow, and I'm still zoomed in. Holy crap, this blade shape is bizarre. It's like a recurve, but a compound, but not a compound. It's weird. But this is definitely one of those cases where, I've done my best. And many people disagree, but one of the things I do my very best to do is to kind of keep... I have my personal preferences. I have the pieces that are appealing to me and are not appealing to me, but I do my best to try and keep an open mind, so to speak, and try a bunch of stuff, even that's not necessarily immediately going to be up my alley. I try to make things, work, right? And try to branch out a little bit, keep things fresh. And, pardon me. Don't worry, it's not the Rona, it's the asthma. But anyways, I digress. What I've got here is a piece that is very much outside of my conventional range, but still pretty nice, right? And an interesting design. Why not? This is, like I said, Gavko is a maker who is very, very well known and pretty popular. He's got he's got a number of, very, very big fans, right? People who own lots and lots of Gavkos, customs, mid-techs. And he's done oh, that's not true. I did I'm sorry, that's not true. No, it is true that he has lots of fans. I don't want to, not that the merit is people. What's not true is that I have reviewed a Gavko knife before. I have reviewed way, way, way back when the Ferrum Forge Gavko... was that the Furco or the Spinner? Might have been the Spinner. Either way, he did a collaboration with the Ferrum Forge folks way back when. This would have been in 2016, 2017, something thereabouts. Way the heck back in the day. But nonetheless, so I have looked at one of his pieces before, but it was a collaboration. But this is the first kind of mainline Gavko that's jumped out at me. Partly because there's no pocket back and flip a tab, and partly because, well, it's a little bit more readily available, right? Artisan is a company that, definitely has lots of production numbers, so to speak. They can put things out. So let's go on ahead and tighten down the pivot here. It is a free spinning pivot, by the way, which is a bit of a demerit. I hope that gets addressed in future versions. But nonetheless, yeah. Who did I see this from? I'm trying to remember. Maybe it was... Marina, Pocket Goddess CDC, or MCMD Hankery, whatever you want to call her, same person. She is a Gavko fangirl. And not in a, I say that with no disrespect. I just know that chances are if there's a Gavko, she's into it. So, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. You should give her a follow, by the way. Post some great EDC stuff. Definitely a great part of the community. Nice person, too. Okay, let's go on ahead and, what are we looking at here? Okay, a little loose. Pivot is a little bit on the loose side, so let's go ahead and tighten that down. There we go. And that's better. Okay. That's nice. Let that lubricate itself a little bit. I think it's, you see there's a little bit of a satin finish on the blade there. I think that's, we feel in the detent ball rolling across that. There's also a fair amount of lock bar tension on this guy. But either way, can I loosen the pivot any? Oh, I should check for blade play. No play. Okay, maybe I can loosen the pivot a little bit. Maybe that's why it's a little slower than expected. That was a little tiny tweak, but it did indeed make a big difference. And no blade play. Yeah, now the knife is running beautifully. That sounded bad, but it's just the thunk of hitting this big old stop pin, I think. I can look through here and I see air all the way between the tip of the blade and so it's not possibly hitting the backspace of there, so it's just, right? Yeah. So it's just a really big stop pin, right? But look, there we go. There's the disassembly knife. First impressions. The clip on this guy is kind of crazy, right? It's an absurdly thin clip. It is a carved clip here. Actually, the clip itself is a little scratchy. That is one of my first impressions. Is like this is downright sharp. Not necessarily in the hand as much, because, in the hand, at least for my relatively small hands, it's kind of hidden. But just like going about my day, this is going to kill the paint of your car or something like that. There's a reason that a lot of clips have a little bit more beef to them at the tip there. But in terms of tension, it's absolutely good. The action on it is great. It opens, closes nicely. No problems there. The blade on it actually comes down to a relatively thin set of edges, which is not a statement I'm used to making, but it does. It works. The steel on this is S35VN. It's a relatively big knife here. I'll go ahead and grab a ruler for you. Yeah, a little over 3.75 inches, so it's a bit of a beefcake, but it's actually still relatively thin, and you know what? On the whole, it's reasonably impressive, right? I think they've done a pretty good job with this. So, anyways, there you go. That's the Ferrum Forge. Wow. No, Artisan Cutlery and Gavko. the Great White here. So, hope this has been interesting to you, and have yourselves just an absolutely, gav yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.